I actually like this lighting. I look good. You know, because I have to include my series in every single video I do because it's just my baby. My baby. Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today we are going to be going through a guide to YA fantasy. Yeah, YA fantasy, my favorite genre of all time, because I love YA fantasy, hence why I write and read a lot of YA fantasy. So I'm super excited for this video today, and you might be wondering why the lighting is different today, and that is because it is like 8:30 at night. I'm filming this on a Wednesday night after I had dance, and yeah, there's a reason for that, because I'm working tomorrow night, and Sarah J Maas is going on the Call Her Daddy podcast tomorrow morning for me, my time, so I will be watching that all morning, so I'm not gonna have time to film, so that's why I'm filming it tonight. And then second reason the lighting is also a little funky is because I've got a new ring light and I'm trying it out, so we're just gonna ignore my horrible lighting and we're gonna deal with it. And three, you're probably wondering why I have glasses on. These are my blue light glasses. Don't mind me, I just wanted to put them on and film with them today, so I thought I looked cute, so because I don't have any makeup on, so because it's 8:30 at night, there's no point. But yeah, so we're gonna get into the video today. I'm super excited for this video. Like I said, I love YA fantasy and I've been planning this for a while, and I wanted to do a guide to YA fantasy to give you guys recommendations of my favorite YA fantasies and what you can read to get into the genre. But yeah, so let's get started with today's video. Okay, so obviously today we are going to be going through my YA fantasy recommendations. So we are going to start with, I think, one of the easiest series that everyone talks about and that gets you into fantasy. And lots of people talk about this. It's not a romantasy, it is a political fantasy, but it is an easy read in my opinion. So we are going to start off with the Cruel Prince trilogy. Now, the Cruel Prince trilogy, 3 books, not long at all, short books, all in the 300-200 page range, and this is basically, it's got fae, it's got you know, fairies, like that type. It's not like what you would see in ACOTAR. It's more like the more dark side of the fae, which I really loved when I read this series. I remember giving the first one 4 stars, the second 6 stars, the third one 4.5. I love this trilogy. I've got friends who are obsessed with this trilogy and it's their favorite, and I love that for them. It's not one of my favorites, but it's still a good recommendation to get you into fantasy. And it is definitely a high fantasy. It's definitely more focused on the fantasy elements and the fantasy plot than it is the romance, but I think to ease you into fantasy, this is a good read. It's easy to understand, it's not a difficult read at all, and also it's a badass FMC, and she's such a baddie. Jude is just, yeah, she's that girl. I love her, and the love interest is obviously, he's like baddie, but I will warn you guys, it is a bully romance in the beginning, so if you don't like that, then maybe this isn't for you, but don't worry, because I've got tons of recommendations. But yeah, so it is a little bit of a bully romance in the beginning, but I promise you, even though it's mainly political, mainly fantasy elements, the romance subplot is worth it. If like you like the political fantasy but you want that little bit of romance, this is perfect. So I love the Cruel Prince. Wicked King is my favorite one, 6 stars to me. That book was amazing, but this is a really good recommendation for those wanting to get into the political side of fantasy. So if you read a lot of romantasy but you want to read more political fantasy, Cruel Prince. Cruel Prince is for you. The Folk of the Air trilogy. I don't know why I said Cruel Prince trilogy. I meant to say the Folk of the Air trilogy, guys. But this is a good series to get you into the high fantasy and the political fantasy side of things. Okay, the next series I'm going to talk about, I've actually got to like try and see where it is on my shelf because I can't find it anywhere. Oh, it's over there. Okay, the next series I'm going to talk about is a very underrated series, and that is the This Woven Kingdom series. This Woven Kingdom It's going to be 5 books. There's only 4 books out at the moment. The 5th book is coming this year. If you saw one of my last videos, then I mentioned it in my upcoming release video, and it's coming in August, I think it is, and I'm super duper excited for this book. This series is so underrated and it is so good. It's inspired by Persian mythology, and Tahira Mafi also wrote the Shatter Me series, and her writing is just so good. Her characters, she can make you like despise a character, and then she can make you absolutely love a character. She is so good and her writing is so beautiful, and if you've read Shatter Me, then you will love This Woven Kingdom as well, because This Woven Kingdom is beautifully written. The lyricism in it and just the whole poetry that is this series is so good, and the love interest is Cyrus. I love him. I've talked about him before, guys, but I love this series and it's really, really good. So if you want to get into the more romanticy side of things, this is a very heavy romanticy. Romance is very, very, very prominent in this one. It's also sort of a Cinderella retelling a little bit in the first book, but my favorite book is personally book 4, Every Spiral of Fate. That book is so freaking good. I love it. All of these books, no, that's such a lie. 3 of these books were 5 stars for me. The first one was 4 stars just because it was a little slow in the beginning, but I promise it is worth it. Like, push through, it is worth it. It is so good and you will love it. So if you want to get into the romanticy side of things, this is a good one to start with. It's so underrated and more people need to talk about it because it's so good and I love it so much. So yeah, This Woven Kingdom, amazing love interest, enemies to lovers, arranged marriage, forbidden love. Oh, so good. Plot twists, betrayal, many, many, many different things, and it's just really good. And like I said, Cyrus, that's it. That's full stop, period. Okay, my next is a duology, and I am currently reading the 2nd book in this duology. So if you have seen me on TikTok and my updates and my Goodreads, this duology, I read the 1st book for a reading vlog on here that you guys saw in January, and I loved the 1st book. 6 stars, amazing, so good. The 2nd one took me a while. I've been reading it for about 2 weeks now, which isn't like me at all, but I'm just taking my time with it because I just need to push through because I wasn't enjoying it as much, but now I'm enjoying it. And that is the Divine Rivals duology, which is the Letters of Enchantment duology, I think it's actually called. So these 2 books, like I said, I'm reading book 2 at the moment. I think I'm about 70-something% in, so I'm getting there very closely. But this duology follows Iris and Roman, and basically they write letters to each other on their magical typewriters, all during a war of gods, and it is so beautiful. Like, even though the 2nd book began slow for me, it's still so beautiful, so beautifully written. It's my first like series books that I've read by Rebecca Ross, and I will be reading more by her. So I'm like very strongly feel amazing about the 1st one. The 1st one was so good, 6 stars, no notes. I was not bored at all. The 2nd one, like I said, I'm still currently reading it, so I was bored at the beginning, but now I'm like heavily interested. I'm like, oh yeah, what's gonna happen next? I'm hopefully gonna try and finish it this weekend, so by the time you guys see this video, hopefully I'll be finished Ruthless Vows, hopefully. But this duology is really, really good. YA romance, it's clean. There is one scene where it implies that they share a night together, but is not actually written in there, which I love that. Obviously I love a little bit of spice from time to time, but I love that that's how Rebecca did it, and she's like, no, I can imply that they had a night together and they spent a night together, but I'm not going to show it. That's beautiful. So this duology is really good, super duper easy writing. Rivals to lovers. It's not enemies to lovers, it's rivals to lovers. And it's just so good. He follows her to war. He follows her to war, guys. I'm just gonna end it there. This duology is so good. Like I said, hopefully, I think the 2nd book's only going to be 4 stars for me, but just as a whole, the series is really good. So, okay, my next fantasy series, duology, whatever you want to call it, YA, is in fact Lightlark. Here's the thing, Lightlark was meant to be a trilogy, but it is now 5 books. I love all the books 5 books in a series. I love when a series is long and lengthy and I get to spend so much time in the world. But with Lightlark, it is in my god tier. I love it so much, but I do agree with lots of people who are saying that it's being dragged out, and I do hate when they do that. I hate when it's meant to be a series of 3 or a duology, when it's meant to be a trilogy or a duology, and then authors like, let me just write more, and they didn't plan for more, they just drag it out. I hate when that's done. When you've planned that it's a series from the beginning, that you're going to write multiple, like, you know, more than 3 books, that's fine, okay? But when you're in the middle of a series and you decide to change it, it doesn't make it better. It feels annoying because you keep waiting. So that's what happened with Lightlark. But Lightlark is still all 5 stars to me, still god tier. Like, I love it so much, so good. But what is annoying me is the love triangle being dragged out. So it is a very prominent love triangle. So if you like love triangles, this is for you. This is for you. If you hate love triangles, if you despise it, don't read Lightlark. I'm gonna say it right now. If you hate love triangles, do not read this series. Ignore this, skip to the next series I'm going to talk about, because you will hate this. This love triangle is still going, and we are on book 4. Book 5 is probably coming out this year. I hope it is. If it's not, I'm going to cry. But book 5 is the final one. I know it is. It better be. If it's not, then I probably will not read the rest of the series. I'll just be over it. I'll be like, no. So Crown Tide is the most recent one, and let me tell you, she did in fact pick. And then she took it back, and I'm like, so Lightlark is still really good. Enemies to lovers, trials, games, basically Hunger Games, but make it super duper dark and fantasy. That's the vibe it gave off when I first read it for the first time. And the romance, like, genuinely, both love interests have their flaws, but they both have their likes. They have their green flags, they have their red flags, but there is one team that is so much more, like, makes more sense than the other, and it just angers me. So, but I love both the love interests, but I am on one team, but I love the other love interest, but I think they both deserve better. I hate the main character. She pisses me off. That is the only thing I hate about the books, is that she pisses me off. But my mom, this is her favorite series of all time, so I can't talk too much shit about it because she loves it so much. But yeah, so Lightlark is a YA, like I said, dark Hunger Games fantasy. That's as best as I can explain it, and it's really good. But if you want to read this, then I recommend waiting for book 5, because at the moment it's just gone to shit. So, and you have to wait after the pain of Crown Tide with me. So that's great for you, great for me if you do decide to do that. But if you don't, then just wait till book 5. I don't know when it's coming, but whenever it does, just wait till then, because then at least you'll have the whole series to read. Okay, my next one, once again, I'm trying to, oh, it's over there. Okay, guys, we found it. It's okay. It's on that shelf. I'm going to move these shelves together eventually. It's just they're not like that right now. Anyway, the next series I'm going to talk about is, in fact, Caraval by Stephanie Garber. This trilogy is so good. So many people skip this trilogy to read the trilogy that comes after this, which is Once Upon a Broken Heart. Both of these are so good. People who skip Caraval do annoy me a little bit. Like, genuinely, if you didn't enjoy Caraval, like, you read it, you tried to read it, and you genuinely didn't enjoy it, that's fine. But then you went and enjoyed Once Upon a Broken Heart, that's fine. You gave Caraval a go, you didn't like it, that's fine, which I don't understand because it's so good. But for people who genuinely like, no, I'm not reading Caraval because I just want to read Once Upon a Broken Heart, that pisses me off a little bit, because they're both so good and you're missing out. So Caraval follows Donatella and Scarlet, the Dragna sisters, and they enter in this magical game called Caraval, ruled by Master Legend, and they have to play this game, and it's magic, and the whole tagline is just, remember, it's only a game. But is it only a game? No, it's not only a game. But this trilogy is so good, it kept me on the edge of my seat. And the reason why you have to read Caraval before Once Upon a Broken Heart is because the villain in Caraval, it's his story on Once Upon a Broken Heart. So that's why it's recommended you read Caraval before. I read Caraval in January of 2024, and then I read Once Upon a Broken Heart in the April of 2024 because I didn't have the books yet. I went out and bought them later on, and I loved both of these series. I definitely love Once Upon a Broken Heart more, but Caraval is still so good. think about it, Caravel's the more dark side of it. Once Upon a Broken Heart is the more fairy tale. That's how I think of it. Both of these series are so good. Like I said, the first one follows Scarlet and Tella, and the Once Upon a Broken Heart series follows Evangeline and Jax, and their love story is the greatest love story ever told, if you know what I mean, because that's the tagline of the book. And it's just so beautiful, so gut-wrenching. Ballad of Never After is genuinely one of the best books I've ever read in my entire life. That book ripped my soul out, and it was so good. And yeah, this whole series is just so freaking good. And the new Once Upon a Broken Heart novella is coming out, The Mirror of Infinite Endings. It's coming out this year. I'm super excited for it. I will be sad for that book. I'm super duper excited. So yeah, those two series go hand in hand, so I recommend reading Caravel before Once Upon a Broken Heart. If you tried Caravel and you genuinely didn't like it, then that's okay. But if you fully skipped it and went straight to Once Upon a Broken Heart, then I don't trust you, because give it a go. At least give it a go. Like, some of my favorite booktubers, they tried Caravel, they didn't like it. Like, they read the whole first book and they were just like, oh, this wasn't for me, but I'm still going to try Once Upon a Broken Heart. And then they liked Once Upon a Broken Heart. That's fine. Or it was the other way around. They read Caravel, loved Caravel, but they didn't like Once Upon a Broken Heart, which I don't understand. But that's fine. You know what I mean? But it just annoys me when you skip one of the series and don't read, and read one of them and don't read the other. That's pisses me off. Yeah. Anyway, both of these series are so good. And Stephanie Garth is just a mastermind. I love her, and she knows how to rip your heart out. Okay guys, the next one we're going to talk about is very, very big on Book Talk. It is getting a TV series. It is one of the most popular books on Book Talk right now. It's also one of the most controversial books on Book Talk right now, and that is Powerless. The Powerless trilogy by Lauren Roberts is very, very big on Book Talk, like very, very big. And I have had the pleasure of meeting Lauren, and she is the sweetest. I love her books. I love Powerless personally, and if you don't like it, then that's okay. That's your preference. Everyone has opinions, and I know there's a whole controversy behind it, but I personally loved it. And Powerless follows Kai and Peyton in a world of ordinaries and elites, and Peyton is an ordinary hiding as an elite, and ordinaries have been outlawed by the king. Kai is a prince. He is the enforcer who kills the ordinaries, so of course Peyton's hiding in plain sight by pretending to be a psychic, and she's tossed into these trials. And yeah, this series is a trilogy with 2 novellas. Me personally, all of the books were 5 stars except the final novella. The final novella just lost it for me. It was still really, really good. I just didn't enjoy Lenny and Blair's story. I enjoyed Kit's side of the story, and that made me tear up a bit. I think I gave it 3.5, maybe 4. But the rest of the series was all 5 stars for me. My favorite was probably Powerless, the first book, possibly Fearless. I can't remember what I did my ranking, but yeah, no, these books were all so good. I enjoyed them. Kyaza. What else can I say? That man is fine. Anyway, but I will say I don't want to watch the TV series. If the TV series does not get done right, I will not be watching it, unfortunately, because I don't want it to be ruined for me. But if they genuinely do get it right and the casting's good and they get it spot on, then I will watch it. But if they don't, then I will not be watching. It's probably the series that made me cry the most out of any other series, besides one other series I will be talking about in a couple minutes, and you guys know what that is. But I cried for certain people's... There was 2 deaths in this series that made me cry more than any other deaths I've had in a book. And they were written so beautifully and so well, and yeah, I just love them so much. So I love Powerless, and if you don't, that's okay. If you do, then that's great for you as well, like me. But yeah, I love the series, and it's definitely a very, very good entry into fantasy if you want to start that. It's very heavy on the romance, very heavy. Like, it's very minimal plot building, I will say that. It's just like, it could be a romance in a real world with just, like, the only reason that makes it fantasy is because it's set in a fantasy world with trials and swords and magic, but it's mainly romance, I will say that. So if you want romance, read Powerless. If you want political, don't read it, because it's not very political. So yeah. Okay, we're down to the final 2 YA series that are on my list that I've read. And my second to last is The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni. Oh my god, guys, this book is in like my top series. This trilogy, it's up here, you can't see it, but she is up here, I promise. And this trilogy, I was gobsmacked at every book. Every single book was 7 stars. That's how good this series was. I devoured it in, I think it was in the middle of when I was finishing year 12. It was like the weeks I finished year 12, so I was like very, very busy finishing up and graduation and stuff. So it took me a while to read them because I didn't have a lot of time in my life, but these books still left me gobsmacked. If you have not read The Prison Healer, it is underrated. It is so good. It basically follows Kiva, and she is a prison healer. She's in this prison and she is the healer of this prison, hence the name of the book. And basically one day the rebel queen comes into the prison and she is tasked with healing her so she can go through this trial by ordeal, which is basically these elemental trials. And these elemental trials are designed to kill the rebel queen, because obviously she's the rebel queen, she's against the current kingdom. So yeah, but then this other mysterious inmate comes in and he's a little suspicious, and of course, you know, but then they become friends and stuff. There's betrayal, there's plot twist. Oh my god, the plot twist, I don't think I've ever read a crazier plot twist than what happened at the end of book 1. Okay, like this series is genuinely so good and I love it so much, and the romance is adorable. The betrayal is crazy, but I will warn you that there is some scenes that are very sensitive, and there is addiction talked about in this series, and it's very like hard on it, so search your trigger warnings for this series. But it is all YA, so there's no smut, none of that. Lots of tension, slow burn. Oh my god, there's such a good slow burn. And yeah, I just love this series so much. Lynette Noni's writing is so good, and I'm going to read more of her books this year. So yeah, I love Prison Healer. Definitely, it's in my top 5 series of all time. It's not in my top 3, but it is in my top 5. It's like number 4 or something like that. But yeah, I love this series. It's so good, so easy to read. And like I said, the plot twists are insane. So like, if you want a good plot twist in a YA fantasy novel, go read The Prison Healer. Okay, the final series that I'm going to talk about is a YA fantasy. And if you've gotten this whole video wondering what YA fantasy could she possibly leave till last, guys, Throne of Glass. Have you met me? If you've been here for a while on my TikTok, on my Instagram, or you know me in person, then you know I non-stop talk about Throne of Glass. This series is my life. I have read it twice. I do a reread every year now. I'm gonna do a reread this year. I read it in 2024 for the first time. It was life-changing, mind-altering, life-altering, life-changing. It was so good. I genuinely didn't know what to do with my life after I finished it for the first time, knowing that I'll never get to read it for the first time again. Throne of Glass is just a beautiful story about how small acts of kindness can truly do more than you would ever know. And it follows an assassin called Selena Sardothian and a princess, Aelin Galathinius, and these two are some of the most badass FMCs I've ever read in my life, and they're my favorite FMCs, and I love them so much. And this story is just beautiful. I think there's tear stains on every single page in these books. I genuinely get war flashbacks when I think about these books. Like, if you watch my last video, I had Throne of Glass flashbacks in this one, and now I'm gonna have them now because I want to reread it again. I want to reread Throne of Glass like right now. Like, I genuinely want to like pick up, it's all the way up on the top shelf, but I genuinely want to like pick up the book and start reading it again because I love it so much. And like I said, obviously tomorrow Sarah J Maas is going on the Call Her Daddy podcast. I'm super excited because she wrote my favorite series. So this series is just beautiful, and lots of people debate about when to read Assassin's Blade and whether to do the tandem read or not, and I'm here to tell you that I read Assassin's Blade third, and I stand by it, because in the first book, when Kale asks Selena about her past, she's not ready to tell him about it. So why should we be allowed to read it if she doesn't want us to know yet? So that's why I fully believe reading it third is the correct way. But I respect other people's opinions. If they want to read it fourth or first, that is all up to them. Like, I have a friend who read it first and she stands by that, and we may have different opinions, but you know what? We're fine. We respect each other's opinions. So I read it third, and I will always read it third because it just hit me harder already knowing what was going to happen and then reading it. And then tandem read, I did in fact do the tandem read both times I read it. So when I read it for the first time, I did the tandem read. When I reread it last year, I did the tandem read. Personally, just because I knew the Emperor Storm's cliffhanger was really big, so I didn't want to go through the, not that I didn't like want to read the book about Kale, because obviously like he's one of my favorite characters. I love Kale. I'm a Kale defender, but at the time I didn't want to read the whole book on its own. So that's why I tandem read. And then now every time I read it, I will be doing tandem read each time, because it's just like one big book for me and my brain functions better like that. So I fully believe tandem read is worth it, and it's so funny when you do the tandem read because they say one thing of Tower of Dawn and then they say something very, very similar relating to it in Emperor Storms, and it's just fucking hilarious. And yeah, and I believe Assassin's Blade third. So that's my opinion. I love Throne of Glass, best series ever. Queen of Shadows is my favorite book to ever exist. I have 2 copies of it. I have a 2015 edition of it, and I have the 2022 paperback, I think. But I love it so much, and it's amazing. And if you haven't read Throne of Glass, genuinely it's life-changing, but take your time reading it because you only get to read it for the first time once. And I wish I could read it. Like, if someone told me I lost my memory, I'd be like, great, I can go read Throne of Glass for the first time again. Wonderful. But do you know what? For me, I forget everything I read after I read it. So reading it again feels like the first time for me. So yeah, anyway, I've yapped about Throne of Glass for 5 fucking minutes now, so I can't shut up about it. So Throne of Glass, YA fantasy, very political. There is a romance subplot in it. I forgot to mention that. There is a romance subplot in it, many romance subplots actually, and very multiple POV, but it is very much political fantasy. So much like politics in this, like, it is so good. It has inspiration from Game of Thrones, so it's very political, but it has that romance subplot, and the romance is beautiful and just amazing. And like I said, the whole series is just about how small acts of kindness can truly come back and repay you, and it's just amazing. It's just amazing. I'm gonna stop talking about Throne of Glass before I cry. Okay guys, you know how I said that was my last one, that Throne of Glass was my last one? I'm such a liar, because there's one more that I may have nearly forgotten about if it wasn't my own series. But so my last YA recommendation for you is in fact The Voltage Saga by me. And this is obviously an unfinished series because the first one only came out last year. But the first book, Storms of Vows, is out now on Amazon and Kindle Unlimited. And basically it follows Skylar Roberts, and she is an ethereal. An ethereal is an immortal, magical powered being, and there is the ethereals and the untouched. The untouched is the humans. They have no magic. They're normal. You know, that's what Skylar thought she was. But then turns out she has a magical power. She's gifted this magic and she becomes an ethereal, an immortal, godlike being. They are blessed, they have magic, they're baddies. And she is having to now, you know, I'm trying to find a word. She is now having to navigate her newfound power and her newfound life, all with her partner in crime, Blaze. This series is inspired by Throne of Glass, Fourth Wing, Gods and Monsters by Amber V. Nicole, which I haven't talked about in this video and you might not know it, but that's the Book of Azrael. And I will say it has, as I started writing this when I was 12 and I loved Miraculous Ladybug growing up, so it does have superhero elements of that as well. That's the kind of the vibe of the first book, is very a little bit miraculous vibes, and I loved that as a kid, so I took that inspiration. I was like, how can I make this a little bit more like upper YA adult? So I did that, and I took it, and it blossom into Storms of Ours. And the second book, Embers and Curses, is coming this year, and I'm super duper excited for you guys to experience Embers and Curses, because I know you guys have been waiting so long, but you still have to wait a few more months because it's not coming until like August, September-ish, so we'll see. But yeah, so this series is so special to me. It is my debut series, and I've already written book 3. Book 3 is written, one of the final drafts, and then yeah, and I also have novellas in the works, and the novellas are going to be so good. And one of the novellas is also coming hopefully by the end of this year, so hopefully in November, December-ish, possibly January. But yeah, so I'm super excited for you guys to experience more of the Voltage Saga, and it is definitely a good YA fantasy if you want to get into YA fantasy. Yeah, like I said, if you love Fourth Wing, Throne of Glass, Gods and Monsters, and Miraculous Ladybug, you'll like the Voltage Saga. But I will say it is more aimed for 16 and older, just because of heavy grief in it. Nothing to do with the romance being spicy or anything like that. I mean, Nathan Dawson is not YA, but the series is, you know what I mean? But it's just to do with the heavy topics of grief, because there is a lot of grieving and death and dark topics in this series, but it is still YA, so people who are under the age of 16 can read it, but no younger than 14. I've got a 14-year-old brother. I wouldn't want him to read it because of the grief that is in it, but I would let him, you know what I mean? And yeah, so that's my series. I love it so much, and I can't wait for you guys to have book 2. I can't wait for you guys to have Embers and Curses, and I can't wait for you to see the cover. I'm super excited. But yeah, so that's my series, the Voltage Saga. Okay guys, that brings us to the end of this video for today, well, tonight. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed me yapping about YA fantasies and romanticies that I love. And I know that all of these are very popular book talk books, but I thought I'd yap about them and tell you if you because some people haven't heard of them, so you know, I just yap about them to give you guys some recommendations and tell you if you haven't read them then you need to read them because they're good. Well, all of them are popular except mine, but hopefully it is one day. But I genuinely hope you enjoyed this video, and it was fun to make, even though it's 9 o'clock at night now. So yeah, and I hope one of these series becomes your new favorites, and if it does, because I recommended it to you, I'd love to know. Send me a DM on Instagram or TikTok and tell me how much you love the series, even if it's my own series. My DMs are always open. If you read my series and you want to tell me how much you loved it, or you want to send me your therapy bill because I made you cry, then my DMs are open, guys. My DMs are open. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was really fun to make, and I'll see you guys next week, Tuesday at 10 a.m. and yeah.